Welcome to Mic Check with Nikita. I'm your host, Nikita Gairam, and today we have Shivani Collado from Sing's Roti Shop.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so I want to talk about Sing's Roti Shop. It is a pinnacle of our community. Definitely.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Well, but it is. And that's not even something that it's not an opinion. It's just a fact in general, right? Like, you guys have been around for so long. Earlier, we were talking about almost 40 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. Since 1990. And I was driving here and I'm like, oh my God, that's 36 years. 36 years in business. Like,
that's crazy.
That's insane.
And you know what I've noticed too, especially, like, so many businesses have opened and closed on Liberty Avenue, but this is one spot that has definitely remained there, right? Like, I know you guys were at a different place and then you expanded at some point, but in general, it is like the hub of Liberty Avenue, right? Like, it's one of the businesses that made Liberty Avenue the place where we would go for our cultural things, right? Like, of course, there's like Sybil's, there's you guys, there's other, like, you know, a million shops on Liberty Avenue, but Sing's is the one spot that we can genuinely know that, like, if you go back in time, it's always just been there.
Yeah, and I love that it's like the gathering spot for like community events sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to see everybody. And I feel like even though that we've been there for so long, and, you know, I mean, 1990, I remember when I was a kid going in there because we didn't have a babysitter. And me and my sister would play in like the chana bags and like go to sleep and like go in the backyard in the parking lot. Like, that's when we had the smaller restaurant. And then when my parents expanded to the big one, I was in, I think I was in junior high. And then by the time I got to high school, they're like, you need to come here and work on the weekends. I'm like, do I have to? So that was a little bit much for me, I won't lie, because it was kind of like a culture shock, even though I grew up in Queens.
Yeah.
Grew up, went to school in Queens, like, but working there on the weekends, I'm like, gosh, it was tough.
That was their way of like
100%.
Showing you the business. And
Yeah.
kind of having 14. That work ethic.
Having the work ethic, yeah.
And
I got the work ethic, so because obviously I'm still doing it, right? Took a break, but came back. But how do I say, like, being in it since then, it was tough because I was still growing up.
Yeah.
So I feel like people thought they knew me. I mean, thank God this was before social media, right?
Yeah.
So it was like a little, it was you know, and you're growing up as a female too in the Liberty Avenue. Like,
yeah.
So that was tough.
I think this is where we share some similarities, is growing up in the business. People have seen you as a child, and then they've seen every single phase of your life.
I know, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's like super weird, especially when I get customers now. I'm like almost 40. And I'm like, I remember when you were a child. So it's like, oh my God. I'm like, this is weird, but okay. Nothing bad, like all good stuff. But, you know, it's kind of like, oh my God, this guy knew me.
Yeah.
I don't know you, but you knew me as a child.
Oh my God, I hear that all the time.
I know.
Hear, you know, I've known you since you were so small.
Yeah, right? So small. So small.
And I'm like, oh, nice to meet you.
I know, nice to meet you. I'm like, what are you supposed to say at that point? I remember you too.
So I guess for those who don't know, if you can just give a little bit of a synopsis on Sing's, how it came about, I guess, and then, you know, just like, obviously, like we just said, we're going into almost 40 years, but give me a little bit of a background on Sing's itself. Nothing big, nothing, you know, just something short.
Started in 1990. My parents started it, my mom and my dad. It was a small restaurant. It started there. People started coming, lines out the door. This is just a breakdown. And then my dad was like, let's do a bigger one. And he wanted a bar. And, you know, we did it. Like, it's still standing. We have a bar. There used to be music. That was a big thing when we started, the music, the nightlife. A lot of, you know, musicians and local musicians, Guyanese and Trini. They used to perform there on Friday and Saturdays. Yeah. It used to be insane, like a club.
It kind of still is.
It kind of still is on certain occasions, right? So yeah, that's just a breakdown. And, you know, we serve Trini food, Guyanese food.
Yeah.
It's but it's good. Like,
When did you get really involved? Like in terms of, I know that you said that you were working there since you were 14, but in terms of really decision
involvement.
making and being a part of like management itself.
So that started when I was pregnant with my first child. I took a break. I went to college. I worked in the city, worked at Travel Channel. It was great. Loved it. But then I kind of wanted to do more of the family business. I don't really remember what was going through my head at the time. I think I thought I was going to get a little bit of a break rather than commuting to the city all the time.
Well, you said you were pregnant,
I was
right?
pregnant, yeah. So,
That may
when
have
you're
been.
pregnant, you're not really thinking straight. So I started then. That was 12 years ago.
God.
Yeah. So I've been there ever since. And my parents are getting older too. So it's good. Both me and my sister do it now too. So when I left my job, she left hers. And we both do it together. Decision making, we both talk about things. So it makes it easy because it's not just on one person. Because it's a big business. It's a lot of, a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
You can't really let things fall through the crack.
When you decided to take this on, did you think about the possible, like, I guess, pressure of keeping it going?
Oh, yeah. I still think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a hard business. Like, I know, like, people walk in, they order their food and they leave, but there's a whole, like, life to that,
Yeah.
There's, like, blood, sweat, and tears in that place.
Yeah.
It's so many people's livelihoods. We have so many employees that work there. It's not just, like, me and my family. It's, like, a lot of people are depending on you for a paycheck in the end of the week.
I feel like a lot of people think that just because it's been around for a really long time, the business almost, like, sells itself, right?
Yeah,
Or
but
keeps
it doesn't.
the lights on.
Yeah, no, you can't think like that.
Yeah.
Especially as, like, I still say we are a small business because there's just one, right? There's one on Liberty. But you still have to maintain it. Like, we still have to go. There's always somebody there. Like, it's not just like, oh, I could take, like, 5 days off and be at home. No, I can't do that. And even if I do, I'm working from my phone.
Yeah.
Like, they're checking in with me at work. Managers are calling. We're ordering things at home. It's never, you own a business. It's never really leaving. Like, that's your lifestyle right there. Like, that's what it is.
It's not a 9 to 5.
No, it's not. It's a 24/7. Yeah, no.
Those who own their own business, whether it's a restaurant business,
or
dancing,
even doing the podcast. This is your face at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It
really is. And it's really interesting because I think in the previous episode with Wahida, I did speak about this, and her and I spoke about this. You really have to have some sort of passion to do it.
100%.
Otherwise, it just never works out.
No, you can't think. Yeah, you can't think that. Oh yeah, today's gonna be an easy day. No, no. That the minute you think it's gonna be an easy day is when you get like a slap in the face. It's not an easy day.
I've had like if I have like podcast stuff or even like the dance things. I've been at dinner parties with my friends, and I'll have people calling me like because the girls are either at a gig or something, and I'm doing something else. My friends are like, "You don't stop working," and I'm like, "No,
yeah, no,
no, I have to step away. I'm sorry because this is not a 9 to 5. It's a full around the clock 24/7 job at the end of the day."
And even like I'm driving and I'm thinking about things for work, or like I'm sleeping and I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, let me write that down,
Yeah.
And it never ends.
So being that you and your sister kind of took, I guess I can say you took over the business.
You can say that, yeah. Yeah.
What has...
My parents are still involved, but for the most part, like we're the decision makers.
Okay. So what has changed from the management style from your parents to you guys? And I know obviously social media is the obvious choice, right? Like it's the obvious thing with the times that we are in right now. But in terms of just being more innovative with the things that you're being involved in, what did you and your sister bring to the table that your parents didn't at that time?
I mean, back in the days, the restaurant was all cash. So once we got there, it was like, okay, we need to do credit cards.
Yeah.
Digital sign for the menu board, website, things like that, that my parents couldn't do. They weren't thinking about those things. And they were thinking about, okay, we have a line, we need to serve these people. Like, I don't have time to go and make a website. I just started, well, not just, but it's been probably about over a year. we started shipping food with Goldbelly out of state. So that was a big thing. And, we're just trying to be accessible to everyone at the same time. Because people always ask, oh, do you ship Roti? Do you ship Roti? Like, that's the number one thing I kept getting for years.
Yeah.
And now we do. So, that's one of the things that I helped with. The Uber Eats, all the food deliveries, things like that.
Wow. That's actually a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot of
even all the
changes.
Like the events that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that.
Wow. So before that, your parents didn't really sponsor things, right?
They did actually. Yeah, they were heavy with sponsoring. They've always been heavy with sponsoring. But now, me and my sister, obviously, we kind of control what we're doing.
Like what's in the budget.
Yeah, what's in the budget, or what's, trying to make it easy for ourselves too. Like, I can't sponsor on a busy Saturday. Like, things like that. And we try to work with everybody. It's not just like, oh, you're my friend, I'm going to work with you. No, you don't have to be my friend for me to work with you.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like sponsorships and giving things away and like giving food away. Like, we can do that. We can help you for your event. But yeah. And what's good now is that like, I know a lot of smaller groups in the community, like the not-for-profits.
Mm-hmm.
So like we both do. So we both work with them one-on-one. So they call us if they need help with something. And it's good that they have somebody to go to, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody needs help at the end of the day.
That too. And then just community involvement. Like I feel like a lot of people don't realize like, okay, they hear Singh's Roti Shop, right? They know great food, a place you can go to it's almost like your one-stop shop, I guess you can say, right? But what I really wanted to highlight is the fact that you guys are so involved in the community, which is why I call it a pinnacle of our community,
that's
right?
Nice to hear.
Because at the end of the day, you're not just a restaurant on Liberty Avenue kind of serving everyone. You're also involved in so many events. Like I know Pago Parade is coming up.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one and I'm excited.
That's
always fun.
I was there last year, guys.
Yes, you were.
I'm looking at my camera. I was there last year. It was a lot of fun. So if you're going to the Pago Parade, make sure you stop at Singh's after.
March 29th.
March
Sunday.
29th. Sunday, March 29th. Make sure you be there.
It's like a whole day for us. It's fun. Music. People have a good time. The colors are being thrown.
Yeah.
It's a great day for like the community involvement. And
I think
see a lot of local people. And,
exactly.
It's nice. People come outside.
It's really nice. One thing I love about the Pago Parade is that it's like all of Liberty Avenue gets involved.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't feel like you need to only go to one spot, or you don't feel like
no, people jump from one place to the next, which is kind of nice. I mean, I can't because I'm working, but I know like my cousins jump from one place to the next. And that's great because that's what, it's all about the community at the end of the day. Like, let's support everybody.
Exactly.
It's all about that.
So maybe this could be a thought, but have you thought about expanding to other states?
God. I don't have the mental capacity to do that. I'll be dreaming about other places while I'm like worried about the one in New York.
I mean, if you're shipping, I'm sure
it's so tough.
I'm sure Florida would love a Singh's Roti Shop. I'm sure Canada would love a Singh's Roti Shop.
It's just so tough with like workers, and the thing is like when you own a business, you need to be there.
Yeah,
that's the problem, right? Like you're kind of married to that business.
Yeah. So like owning like multiple, it's great. It sounds great, but you don't want quality control to go down because you're not there. What do people care about? It's my business at the end of the day. Like somebody working there might not be like, oh, let me do the extra. Let me go the extra mile for this person. So that's, you have to think like that too. But people ask us all the time, like, come to so-and-so, come to this state, that state, all that. And it's just like, it's so tough. Have you thought about, and this is just me giving like random ideas. But
great advice right now. Go ahead. Tell me.
Have you thought about maybe doing like pop-up events?
I mean, we could do that.
Like, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Like, that like.
I'll take my entire kitchen with me.
Yeah, like, if you want to do it that way, sure. But like, just in general, like, okay, I'm going to give an example. Sanjay Maharaj Events, he's doing Chutney World in Orlando.
Oh,
Like,
is he? What? It was in New York, right?
he's doing it
Oh,
on
now he's
April
moving.
April
Okay.
4th
Okay, nice.
in Orlando. He's doing one in New York, I
He did
think. I
not
hope
tell
so.
me that.
It's April 4th in
Okay.
Orlando. But like that would be like something where you know, that's a New York promoter
Yeah,
who's
I
doing
totally hear what
something,
you're saying.
and it would be collaborative.
Yeah, he
Like,
would
same
definitely
sort of
work
shit.
with me. He loves working with me. That's my cousin, so it makes it so much easier.
But I'm just saying in general, like pop-up events like that would be like
Yeah, that
a
would
game
be
changer.
100%. It would probably take us to like another level.
Yeah,
Taking that idea and going with it.
you should.
Sanjay, call me.
I would love, by the way, to like go to a different, like I told you earlier, I was just at Aruba, Holy in Aruba, and going there and being like, oh my God, this is home cooked food right now from New York.
Aww.
This would be so great.
That's so funny.
Oh my God. Okay, so I really wanted to know, just in general, aside from all of the great things that you and your sister have been doing to expand, or kind of not just expand, but just in general, leveling up the business, if
Yeah.
that's the better term, right? What are things that you felt like you've had to say no to because you feel like it wouldn't be great for business, or it wouldn't be great for the community in general?
Something I had to say no to.
And it doesn't have to be because like the budget didn't,
Yeah. It would just if it's a no, it's because of timing.
Okay.
Like timing doesn't work for us, or we don't have staff that day to provide whatever you're asking for, or something like that.
Have you ever had to say no to something because I guess the person or company is doing a type of event that you may not resonate with?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And how does that conversation kind of work? Because, and the reason why I ask that is because a lot of people really tend to believe that if you have a specific type of business, whether it's food and catering or like providing DJ services or things like that,
you
that
could
you
just
really
give away free.
Yeah,
I know.
and that you don't really have to think about what you're a part of.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people do. That's the thing too. Like, I don't want to work with people that think like that, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like at the end of the day, you don't respect my time or business. You're just asking for free things.
Yeah.
But if it's a no, like it's gonna have to just be a no. Like we cannot do this at this time.
Yeah.
And that's it. But I usually get that from people that I don't know.
Okay.
Like people that know, they kind of know what to ask for, or they're very nice about it.
Yeah.
It's never really like give me X, Y, and Z. It's kind of like, what can you help us with for this event?
Yeah.
And we know what event is going on too. It's not just going to be like some made up event in the air.
Yeah.
And I always ask for flyers too.
Okay, now I kind of want to go into a little bit of your personal life.
My personal life.
If possible.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so you are someone, again, that's grown up in the community. You come from a family that has a restaurant business that is a pinnacle of our community, like I said earlier. I guess, one, how has it affected your personal life in terms of, you did marry outside of your culture. We did talk about this a little bit earlier, which is why I'm bringing it up again. But I really do want to know, like, being that you are a face of a brand, right? Social media, the generation that we live in, people obviously want to dig into your personal life. They would like to know a little bit more. They're a little bit more nosy about it, right? Again, I'm just going to say this to the camera. She's been with her husband since she was 18. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't think a lot of people know that. They don't, I don't know. I don't know what they know, actually. Who knows?
But being that you've been with him for so long, obviously you both have had the privilege of growing up together in this community,
And
right?
doing
everything
yeah.
together. But now that the generation has changed and social media is a really big, prominent part of our lives, how has that, I don't want to say challenged your relationship, because obviously if you've been together for so long, you have that foundation built, right?
I think it's more challenging for me.
Yeah.
Not even, our relationship is like fine. So I was telling you earlier, I had an incident where I posted something on our business page on Facebook, and somebody just like commented back and was like, you do this for all the money and it kind of referencing my husband or my family life. I don't know. And I was just like, what are you talking about? She was just kind of saying like, I'm married for money. And I get random, every now and then you get a comment. You're just like, whatever, delete block, right?
Yeah.
This one, I was just like,
no.
Oh no, not today, miss. Not today. And I feel like Facebook honestly has taken a level of its own where people just feel too comfortable to say whatever.
Yeah.
Like they don't realize there's actually somebody reading your messages. And this person was like an older woman in the community, probably. And I just felt like, you know what? You need a little lesson right now.
Yeah.
So what did I do? Copied and pasted, reposted. And people were just so upset that she, said that, because it's kind of like, I've been with this dude forever. We do both. He's Catholic. I'm Hindu. We do both. I celebrate a yearly prayers every single year with my kids and my husband. I have a godfather. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I don't know what more.
You make it work.
Yeah. For us, it's just, it's not even like it's work, but it just kind of like comes naturally.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what a marriage is. Like, it should just be naturally. You should be comfortable with the person that you're with.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain myself. He was just kind of like, people are doing this in 2026. Like, they're really saying these things. I was like, I guess. But yeah, so I think she blocked me because I tried to click on her profile the other day and it wasn't going. But she needed to learn a lesson. I'm sorry, but you can't go around telling people things like that.
I think, and we were saying this earlier, it just really isn't anyone's business.
No, it's not anyone's business what's going on in somebody else's life.
I think
But social media has given people the opportunity to feel like me posting something is part of their life, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I also feel like people who are in the public eye, no matter how big of a person you are in society, right? Whether you're just someone who just posts on a regular or you're someone who is this massive star, right?
Yeah.
You give a part of your life, but then you're allowed to keep some of that separate.
100%.
So when people start commenting on the part that you're not really showing as much, and then when you do try to show those little glimpses of it, they feel the liberty to say like
100%.
I'm gonna say whatever I want to say.
I think what made it worse for me is the fact that we started doing our videos for things, like the funny videos and like the promotions, and I started putting my face out there.
Yeah,
that made it a little worse. But I don't want my kids really involved in that whole aspect. I do post them on my personal, but at the end of the day, like they have to know like this is a family business.
Yeah,
like this is how I grew up in this. Times are changing now because of social media. So they'll be on TikTok once in a while and they'll see a video pop up. Yeah. Like, oh, that's you. And I'm like, yes. And, you do want to protect them, but I do the older ones. Like, you should know. You should know this is how you get your livelihood. And when you ask me to take you to the mall, this is where it's coming from,
Okay, so then you've said a few things that I actually want to touch on. Since we're still talking about family life. What you just said about having your kids know where they like what they're provided, where it's coming from, how big of the cultural aspect is, and I don't know if I'm even saying this correctly, how big is culture part of your thinking when it comes to raising your kids?
Well, I think they see a lot more culture when they come to Queens. So like when they come to work with me,
so you do bring them to work with you and let them see.
The two older ones, yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm like, let's go. You're gonna go to work today. They pack shelves. They don't really do anything crazy. They play with like the roti flour. But when they come to Queens, they see that I work. It's not like I'm not working. Like I'm working. Like I'm physically working. They do see that, and I want them to see that because you can't just think that this is like an easy lifestyle.
I also think it's great because one, they're seeing the culture, just even if it's from a little bit of an outside perspective, like they're seeing you interact with people. Mm-hmm. They're seeing you talk to people who are part of our community and our culture. But then they're also seeing their mom, one, taking care of them at home, but then also coming to work.
Yeah.
which is a big deal.
And they know I work. When I work, it's like, okay, guys, I need to work.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I ask to go and I'm like, it's Saturday, it's busy. I can't really like watch you. And I won't bring them because on those days it's just like a madhouse in there.
Yeah.
But, I try to bring them as much as I can so they can see what's going on. Talk to the workers, even the employees that's there.
Now shifting a little bit with the social media aspect, does you putting yourself more on social media and doing all the videos, do you have those conversations with them to sort of prepare them mentally for the generation that they're in now?
Well, I don't. They're not allowed to have social media.
Okay.
The only thing they recently got was TikTok, but then I detox them every now and then and I take away their phones. So they're going through a detox right now. And it's only my 2 older kids that have phones. But they recently got a phone. I mean, like for Christmas of last year. And they're 12 and 11. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no.
Because we didn't have that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, go play outside. Like, I'll take you to your friend's house for a play date. But I don't really want them sitting scrolling. That's, I try not to do that. I don't want them doing that. I don't think it's good for this, the younger kids to be seeing all that's going on.
So, and the reason why I asked this is because growing up for me, as much as I was kept a little bit sheltered, right? Like
I was sheltered too, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. I didn't get to go anywhere.
Yeah,
my parents know this. So I tell my kids all the time, you're lucky you get to go to birthday parties. I never got to go to anybody's birthday party.
Yeah, I wouldn't be allowed to go anywhere. I wouldn't be allowed to spend the night by somebody's house.
Oh,
that was
God,
out
no.
of the question.
Are you kidding me? You can't even ask. You cannot. No, girl, let's not even go there. No.
That was out of the question.
Yeah.
I grew up on Long Island. I would go with my parents to their shows and events. I told you this earlier. They would make me go home. Like as soon as 10 o'clock came, they were like, you're going home.
You still got to go to a show. I didn't even get to go to a show.
Well,
I went to work.
I was at a show and I was in the back, but had to see from the dressing room door.
Okay.
I wasn't allowed
backstage.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to be anywhere near anyone. And by 10 o'clock, or by the time the show was sort of coming over and the party was about to start, my grandparents would come pick me up, take me home. I didn't grow up on Liberty Avenue. I didn't grow up going to Richmond Hill.
Yeah, that was all me.
I went to dance class because my dad was teaching me how to dance and things like that. But that was kind of it. I would go to dance class and come home.
But you still had a culture, right?
I did. Because I grew up very I actually always say this.
Selectively sheltered.
Yes.
Selective. I grew up in Queens. I went to elementary school, junior high school, Edison for high school. So a lot of my friends, I see them come to work. I see them when they come to the restaurant. I still talk to a lot of them in Queens. Yeah, it's nice to have that type of relationship. Yeah. And, I don't know. It was hard, working there and then having to go to high school. And then your friends are actually, no, my friends were actually very nice about it. I feel like it was just certain customers that would be oh, I saw your daughter X, Y, and Z place. I'm I don't even know how to get there. So bad with direction at the time. But I remember I used to take doubles and aloo pie from my friends in high school.
If I tell you the stories.
Oh, what?
Oh, my God.
Oh, about I see that. Yeah.
No, about seeing your daughter.
I'm what? Where? When?
I'll tell you this. My dad told me this story. So this was probably the first time that I really experienced sort of being known, right? Because of my parents. I think I was 14.
It's always when you're 14.
It's when you're about to hit
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've hit puberty and then you're So
a little out there, but not fully.
Exactly.
It's
right?
awkward age too.
And my parents were divorced at that point, and I had started going out with my dad in Queens and stuff like that because he was living in Queens when we were doing every other weekend, things like that. And my dad calls me and he says, someone on Facebook messaged him. I don't remember if it was Facebook or someone called him and said, was it Facebook? Maybe it wasn't Facebook because I don't know if Facebook was really around at the time, but it was either a phone call or a message or something he had gotten. And they said, we have seen pictures of your daughter on a adult entertainment site.
Oh my God, no.
And And my dad called me and was like, have you sent anyone pictures? And I was like, no. I'm 14. Like, and 14.
Did you even have a phone?
I don't even remember because I was so young, right? And guys, like, I'm looking in this camera to say this, but like 14, my age, I'm 31. That was early 2000s.
Years ago.
Right? So like, what was that, 2010 maybe, if that? I don't even remember. Can't even do math.
Yeah,
but like
neither.
Early 2000s. So for a person my age, early 2000s, you didn't really have a phone. Life at 14 was kind of like I was watching Disney Channel.
100%. Yeah.
I was watching Hannah Montana. I was watching Sister Sister.
Yeah.
I was a part of that era. Lizzie McGuire, all of that.
TGI, what is it? TGI Fridays?
Yeah, we would go to TGI Fridays, like things like that, right? So like when I like say innocence at 14, like actual innocence at 14.
Yeah.
Like it's not like how the generation is today,
No,
right?
generation is different.
It's very different. Yeah. So when my dad called me and asked me, I was like, what are we talking about?
I'd be like, can I see the photos? Can they send it to you?
My dad he was like, if it's true, like, I don't want to see my daughter that way.
Yeah, obvious.
So he was like, I need to send it to your mother because your mother then needs to like.
Did he have the photos?
He had a link from somebody.
Oh my God.
And he sent it to my mom. My mom clicked on it and she's like, it's like a spam.
A spam.
Yeah, there's like there's nothing. And I was like looking at my parents like, guys, like.
We're doing this right now.
I've never sent anyone anything, but I get it. Like you have to be safe and you want to know like, because, and you also don't know like creepy people could like take random pictures, do whatever at that time.
I mean, I feel like that's what's going on now. So all this AI
with AI stuff, it's crazy. But like at 14, that's what this like my parents were getting phone calls about.
They used to get phone calls in the restaurant probably about me being X, Y, and Z places. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I don't even know how to get there. Yeah. Like, I don't even know where that is. Because I never, at 14, you're not leaving to go anywhere but school and back. Yeah. Like, I wasn't allowed to, like, walk all over Liberty Avenue. My parents would pick me up and
drop me off from school.
100%. Yeah, same. Yeah. And then the most places I would go to would be, like, McDonald's. I mean, this is when McDonald's was good. McDonald's and the library. Yeah. And maybe the pizza spot.
But you would go to like these little, like we would have like the bagel shop or whatever. Like, those little things on
Liberty Avenue. Yeah. And then I would but mostly like somebody would walk me there too. Yeah. I don't ever remember being like, oh, let me just go pick up and leave.
Yeah, no. My dad had also gotten a phone call one time saying that I was on Liberty Avenue with a man. And my dad was like, my daughter lives in Long Island. Where is she gonna be on Liberty Avenue?
I don't understand.
Like, she lives on Long Island, guys. Like, she doesn't live in Queens with me. Yeah. She comes here on the weekends, like when she comes to see me. But other than that, like, and it was one of those like, there was no way I could be in Queens because I was at home with my mother and like,
and they knew,
and they just kind of knew, and they were like, she was with this guy, and at that time, I think when he got that phone call, I was probably 16, turning 17. And my dad was like, whether my daughter is with a man, a woman, her friends, that is none of your business. 100%. Like, just she's going to do what she needs to do as long as we know. Why do you care?
Exactly.
Like, how do you not know that
she... defense, so that's good.
He's like, how do you not know if she is on Liberty Avenue with a man, how do you not know that it's because we've given her permission to be with this person?
What I do remember? The day jams from back in the days. That's what I was like thinking, like going on Liberty, and I'm like, what?
Club Tobago's day jams?
Well, yeah, and then when Sanjay had Parrot, is it Parrot? Mm-hmm. Parrot back in the days, and because we're family, my mom used to go because I couldn't go anywhere, so my mom and his mom would be hanging out while I was at a day jam at Parrot, but she would be on, like the Parrot, whatever the club floor was, just like in a corner with his mom, and I'm like, okay.
Well, okay, it's funny that you say that because for me growing up, right, I started probably going to a club when I was like 17, turning 18. Because, back in the day, it was like 18 and up for girls, 21 for guys, right? Mm-hmm. But I was going to the club with the permission of my parents. So, like, my parents would have to call up, at that time when I was going, it was Level.
Okay, yeah.
Not Parrot anymore, it was Level. And my parents would call up Sanjay and be like, my daughter's coming.
That is so funny.
She needs a section.
I mean, that's good though.
But yeah, that's how it would be. Like, because we were like,
you couldn't just go and like wait.
You couldn't just go and wait.
Wasn't a thing.
You weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
And then you also like, I wasn't allowed to be outside at night without my parents knowing where I was, obviously. Like, we weren't. And I think my parents.
But that's still like, I know like you might think it's them being overprotective, but honestly, I would do that with my own kids.
No, but now
like, let me
the generation that we live in,
to go and
yeah,
I'll pick you up.
But I loved it at the same time. As much as people would think like we were sheltered and we maybe were confined, we weren't, because my parents had brought us up in a way where like when it was time to go to the club, we trust you. You can do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And as long as we're there to pick you up and take you home safe and we know that you're okay, even if...
That's all that matters.
That's all that mattered. Yeah. Even if, like, my dad gave me my first drink.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, same in our household.
He was like, as long as... If we can't trust you, how are you going to trust yourself to be outside? Like, he would always say to me, like, you want to drink, you want to learn what it's like to be tipsy, you want to learn what it's like to be drunk, but you're going to do it at a family party. You're not going to go to the club and do that by yourself. A lot of us
grew up, though.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thing for us. Like, my parents would give us drinks when we were younger.
Is it harder now with your kids, though, being that it's a different generation?
My kids, like, my 12-year-old, she wouldn't even, like, she's like, I don't want that. If I was to be like, oh, cool, Mom, like, here, have a drink. She's like, no, I'm good, thank you.
No, but I mean in the sense of, like, when they go to school and stuff, do they feel the difference of, like...
Like what?
Being raised a little bit differently, because from what you're saying, I almost feel like you're emulating.
I have to correct them.
Yeah,
like they would ask me certain things. I'm like, no, we don't do that. Sorry.
Yeah, but do they get the pressure at school? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because
I don't think so. Because you know what, there are actually a lot of parents who are
very much
strict with their kids.
Oh wow,
like no sleepovers. You can't really go by a friend's house on the weekends, unless it's like a scheduled play date or whatever the case is. But I do know from both sides of the older kids, like their parents are pretty, on top of them.
That's good, because the generation now is like, I think more parents are getting a little bit more strict from what they're almost emulating what their parents did, because now the generation is just so different, right? Like I almost feel like those who have had kids in from like 2000 and up were like, we were so sheltered, so confined, so strict.
We don't want our kids
to do that.
So I'm the same way too. Like you can't go to your friend's house, or you can go to this birthday party. I didn't have birthday parties I was allowed to go to. But what's the difference is that I'm friends with these parents.
Yeah. You have to be involved.
Yeah, you have to be involved. Yeah. You have to be in PTA. But I'm friends, like I have their numbers. I text them, if I have a question about school or something, work, whatever the case is, I text them, call them. I drop them over. I talk to the parents. Like I would go in their kitchen and, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because my kids are friends with your kids, but we need to have a relationship too.
Yeah.
It's not just a drop off play date and keep it moving.
Well, you need to feel comfortable that they're going in that house.
Exactly. And I think that was the difference with our parents, and us.
Yeah.
They didn't have that type of relationship with my school friends' parents.
Yeah.
I feel like now, like all the friends that I went to, like in high school, like I know their parents now.
Yeah.
Or like my mom would know whoever.
Yeah.
This one's mom or whatever the case is. It's different. I think the millennium, right? Like, yeah, that age group, I think they're more involved with what's going on with their kids. And they're open about it. There's nothing to be ashamed about here. Like, let's have an open conversation.
I've noticed that too. And I've also noticed, there's two sets of types of millennials, right? The ones that were, I guess, sort of grown up towards the boomer age, right? Where, is it boomer or Gen X? Maybe Gen X.
Okay. That's the
generation before millennials.
No, that's after. No? Yes. It's millennium, the Gen X? Gen Z?
Gen Z. So the Gen X, right? The Gen X group of before millennials, or even like early millennials.
Yeah.
They felt they were too strict, like their parents were too strict, so now they're even
less
strict with their kids.
Yeah.
But then there's the millennials that were grown up in like the 80s and 90s that are like, no, we see this generation now. We don't want our kids growing up this way. They're going to grow up the way we grew up.
Yeah, see?
So there's like a mix.
I mean, there's always a cycle too, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. You got to let your kids have experiences. And
yeah.
I didn't do anything. I didn't get to do anything. What?
Neither did I, actually.
I
now
mean,
that I
you
think
still got
about
to
it.
dance. I didn't even get that much.
But like me dancing was like, people think that because it like I was dancing at a show, it was like, oh my God, she got to hang out. No.
No, but I mean, like, you had a hobby, right? Like, you had
Yeah.
something to do outside of school.
But you
I
had
had to-
things.
I did. But I had to, like, when I was in high school, I would do, like, all these activities
Yeah.
just because I felt like I needed to do something
But
other than go to school.
But we
and go to work.
were also taught that like extracurriculars was like the way to get into college.
College,
also.
right? So that's all my high school. Like,
Yeah.
I was president of Edison,
Yeah.
prom committee, yearbook committee, like everything.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was treasurer for our student council.
There you go.
I was a part of the yearbook committee. I did chamber orchestra because
Yeah,
I played the
love
violin.
doing things like that though.
It was fun.
It gives me something to like look forward to. Like I do
Yeah.
Jamaica Rotary now, and it gives me like, you know, let me
Fun
meet some
time.
people in the community. Why not? You know?
I'm just gonna say this like because I think that this conversation should be a part of the podcast.
Yeah.
But the TikTok generation of these older,
It's too much.
it's too much.
You're telling me I mean, I protect my kids, right?
Yeah.
Who's protecting them from doing this? Like, does anybody tell them like this is weird?
It's just such a bad representation of our
100%.
community. It really is.
No, it really is taken it to another level. And then what bothers me is that if you want it to be a talk show host, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, right? Do we need to talk about people that are in the community or in Guyana or Trinidad, like whatever, whoever you're talking about? Like real, like can we talk about like something fake?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
Statistically, those TikTokers are Guyanese, most of them.
Those views are crazy though. Like people are obviously watching.
The Guyanese representation or the reputation is not the same as what it would be for Trinidadians, right?
Okay.
We're somewhat considered lesser as Indo-Caribbeans. But it's those same people that are bringing negative light to our
Yeah, I
community.
think it's too much. Like this is not what TikTok and Facebook is for.
Why
Why
are
are we in their business?
Yeah.
Like, can we just mind our business?
Yeah. Or like, I don't know. I don't even, talking about this, I don't even want to bring light to it. But to be very honest,
I know. I agree with you.
I feel like there's just so much frustration behind it. But like,
why are people watching?
yeah.
Can we stop watching? Like maybe if we stop watching, I mean, I don't watch. I just know about it.
No, it just pops up.
But my workers talk about
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, guys, stop. Let's not talk about this.
And I get the idea of like any press is like, or any
Publicity
is good publicity, but it's really not.
Not in this case.
It's not. And
besides it being like Guyanese, it's the community.
It's the community.
It's and then we're all one people. Like we're all from the same culture, backgrounds, whatever.
Yeah, and okay, like I'll give you an example of this, right? The Caribbean Music Awards.
Yeah.
It happens here in New York,
Mhm.
right? We don't have Indo-Caribbean representation like that. We had Ravi who went recently, like last year. He went to both years actually, but he went last year and he got an award for what his contributions are, right?
Okay.
But if you look at the grand scheme of things in the Caribbean, us Indo-Caribbeans, we're technically not even considered a genre, and we're not even considered a culture.
We're not even on
Their radars.
Like if you, what is it?
The radar?
No, like if you fill out a form.
Yeah, we're not even like a.
I don't identify as Asian.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I've never.
I had to put like Pacific Islander or something,
that's
and it's
like
like not.
Hawaii.
That's like Hawaii. It's not the
Yeah.
same.
Like that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Like we're in 2026, and
Yeah,
I think the Guyanese population is pretty large
it is.
in the United States of America.
Yeah,
How do we not have our own? I don't even know.
it's so
Representation. at this
representation.
point.
It's so crazy to me because it's like we are fighting so much, or there's so many people in our community that's fighting for that representation to be considered overall in the Caribbean community,
Yeah.
right? But then there's people like this that don't allow us to further ourselves because
Yeah,
if it's
too
another
much.
culture looking in, or even the Caribbean in general, they'll be like, well, they're just fighting on TikTok for no reason.
I know it's kind of like it's just embarrassing.
It really is
I'm sorry.
embarrassing. And it's not something that we want to be known for. But
And I know people will be like, "Oh, they're crazy," blah blah blah. But at the same time, like, what are we really doing right now?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
yeah,
Like, you really have to stop and think and take a step back and just listen to what they're saying. How does this help anyone? It doesn't help anyone. It hurts people at the end of the day, regardless, because they're talking about somebody, right?
Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so much, Shivani,
Of
for
course.
being here.
I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
So did I. I think, again, just going, especially since it's Women's Month and this will be aired this month itself, I think it's amazing that two women can come together and have just chill and amazing conversation and just have great vibes.
I was thinking the same thing. The vibes were on point today.
And I loved it. I think we talked about a lot of good things. I think we did highlight Singh's Roti Shop as the true pinnacle of our community that it is. And yourself, because you and your sister are doing amazingly to push forward that brand and just being a part of the community in general.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so happy that we got to do this. I know we've been talking about this for a few months.
I know, yes. But we made it happen, so that's all that matters.
Exactly. But just for all of our viewers, Singh's Roti Shop is doing a Pagwa after party on March 29th. So after the Pagwa parade, make your way over. I've been there before. I was there last year. Vibes are amazing. Drinks are amazing. Food is amazing. The music is amazing. So come out there and celebrate with your entire community. And yeah, thank you again for watching Mic Check with Nikita, and Shivani, thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you.